The story of the Thailand-Cambodia conflict is one of ancient rivalries, colonial-era boundaries, temple disputes, and decades of shifting alliances that would spill over into open clashes. At its heart lies the Preah Vihear Temple and the land surrounding it, a symbol of heritage for Cambodia and a strategic vantage point for Thailand. From the French colonial mapping of the early 20th century to the violent confrontations in the 21st century, this dispute became a reminder that history never truly ends, it simply waits to resurface. Understanding this timeline means understanding how culture, pride, and politics can turn lines on a map into lines of fire. Hello everyone, welcome back to the World Conflict Monitor channel. Please subscribe my channel. Today we will take you through the full journey of the Thailand-Cambodia war timeline explained, from the roots in ancient times to the battles that shook the border in the modern era. Let's break it down step by step so you can see not just what happened, but why it happened. Looking from the outside, the exterior of this conflict appears straightforward, two neighbors arguing over a patch of land. Yet the reality is layered and much deeper. Cambodia sees the Temple of Preah Vihear as a sacred jewel, officially awarded to it by the International Court of Justice in 1962. Thailand, while accepting the ruling about the temple itself, disputed the 4.6 square kilometers of land around it. The exterior setting of this conflict includes jungle-covered hills, steep cliffs, and stone ruins sitting atop a mountain ridge. From afar, it looks like a postcard landscape. But the serenity hides decades of hostility. Inside, the interior story is more about national identity than just land. For Cambodia, the temple and its surrounding land are bound to a narrative of survival and sovereignty after colonial rule and years of civil war. For Thailand, conceding territory is politically dangerous, as it can be seen as a weakness in defending the nation's integrity. This short interior explains why politicians on both sides have often used the dispute as a rallying cry, inflaming nationalism whenever convenient. When it comes to performance, the timeline demonstrates how both sides tested each other repeatedly across decades. In the 1950s and 1960s, Cambodia pushed its claim to the International Court of Justice, and in 1962 the ruling handed the temple to Cambodia, but not the surrounding land. Thailand reluctantly accepted but left seeds of discontent. During the Cold War, performance was shaped by larger regional struggles. Thailand aligned with the United States, while Cambodia under Sihanouk leaned on neutrality before falling into civil war and Khmer Rouge rule. In the 1980s, after Vietnam invaded Cambodia, Thai and Cambodian resistance forces clashed along the border, turning the area into a militarized zone. The performance of both armies was tested again in the 21st century when skirmishes escalated from 2008 to 2011. Artillery duels, cross-border raids, and the occupation of contested land showed that despite global diplomacy, soldiers on the ground were still prepared to fight. Safety features in this conflict are ironic. Instead of preventing damage, international organizations like ASEAN and the United Nations acted as the airbags and seatbelts of the crisis. They tried to reduce escalation when things got too heated. In 2011, fighting grew deadly, with dozens of soldiers and civilians killed, temples damaged, and thousands displaced. Calls for ceasefires were constant. The safety features also came from courts and treaties. Cambodia returned to the International Court of Justice in 2011, asking for a clarification of the earlier ruling. In 2013, the court reaffirmed that Cambodia held sovereignty not only over the temple but also over the surrounding disputed land, effectively placing the burden on Thailand to back down. While not an immediate fix, this judicial safety feature prevented the dispute from spiraling into a full-scale war. The unique selling points of this conflict lie in its symbolism. Unlike many modern border disputes that are about resources like oil or water, this one centers on culture, heritage, and pride. The Preah Vihear Temple is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a source of identity for Cambodia, and a hilltop stronghold in Thai eyes. This made the conflict emotionally charged and difficult to resolve. Another unique aspect is how domestic politics fueled the fire. In Thailand, nationalist groups and political instability often turned the border dispute into a tool to pressure governments. In Cambodia, Leaders like Hun Sen used the conflict to strengthen their image as defenders of the nation. It was never just about land, it was about legitimacy and legacy. When speaking of price, the conflict extracted a heavy toll. Soldiers and civilians lost their lives. Families on both sides of the border were displaced from their homes. Tourism and local economies near the disputed zone suffered dramatically whenever fighting erupted. The cultural price was also immense. The temple itself was damaged by artillery fire, a reminder of how fragile heritage can be when modern weapons meet ancient stones. On the political front, relations between Thailand and Cambodia soured repeatedly, costing opportunities for cooperation. The price was measured in blood, in broken trust, and in years of mistrust that still echo today. In conclusion, the Thailand-Cambodia war timeline is not a single war but a series of disputes, flare-ups, and battles shaped by history, identity, and politics. From colonial maps drawn without local consent, to international court rulings, to the bloodshed on the border between 2008 and 2011, this conflict demonstrates how unresolved questions of the past can destabilize the present. Yet it also shows how institutions like the ICJ, ASEAN, and diplomacy act as brakes, preventing a border clash from becoming a regional war. Understanding this timeline is understanding the fragility of peace, the persistence of nationalism, and the power of heritage in shaping nations. And that brings us to the end of our deep explanation of the Thailand-Cambodia war timeline. If you found this breakdown informative, don't forget to subscribe to the World Conflict Monitor channel so you never miss an update on the world's most critical flashpoints.